Z1035 and What's Up in Smith County. We're back with Charlie Clark, Chairman of Smith County Board of Supervisors. This is Blake Frazier with our next question. The revitalization aims to renew the appearance of the downtown area and bring back business that seems to be at odds with the building of a parking structure, generally a large concrete eyesore and indicative of large cities like San Francisco and New York City. Why should we want to put one in our town, and how do they propose to come up with the money for this?
The structure is a joint effort with the town of Marion and the county, and they've agreed to share on the cost. And this structure, I think, will benefit both localities. The structure is designed and will be designed to with the streetscape in mind that is presently there, and I think it will be made to fit in nicely with the town improvements.
Our next question, why not solicit the town to convert the parking lanes in front of the courthouse on both sides of the street for use by courthouse employees only? This would solve the parking issue at no cost.
Don't think we didn't look at that. We were in the early stages counting parking spots around the courthouse. There's 41. But the town has businesses that make up the town, and they're short of parking spots too. The courts originally asked between 287 to 300 parking spots. I'm not sure how many the whole town has, but it might be like 350 to 400. I don't know. But anyway, we have negotiated the spots down to presently the county with the parking structure, and the spots on site will be about 141 parking spots.
At the Board of Supervisors meeting, it was said that the sheriff wanted a separate location for his offices. Are his reasons worth an additional $800,000?
The sheriff, I think this, and this is probably my fault. I've said it at the public. I made a statement at the public hearing, and my statement was that the sheriff has asked that the 911 not be in the courthouse, and I think that's basically not having all your eggs in one basket, for safety issues, to be at a separate location than the sheriff's office, which I certainly understand. The sheriff will be in the courthouse. His office is with this present rendering, the sheriff will be in the courthouse.
It is my understanding that there's over $1 million already set aside for the communication system. If so, why do they need another $900,000 for this?
I think that was another misstatement made at the public hearing. We budget, and probably have for several years, $1 million in the budget for this communication system that we're working on. I think the total amount of the system is somewhere around $3.2 million. We had a tower and shelter contract was awarded to Advanced Wireless System for $897,200. The radio system contract was awarded to Morecom International for $1,946,841, and RCC Consultants was hired to assist Smith County in implementing the system for $151,887, for a total of $2,995,928. We got a grant from the firefighters. AFG was awarded for $1 million and a 10% match. Public Safety Communications grant was awarded July the 21st for $1,263,000 with a 20% match was required. The AFG performance period ended October 17th, 2009, and 100% of the funds were drawn down. The PSC grant period ends June 30th, 2010, and we still have $231,000 left to be drawn down, and 50% of the local match still needs to be accounted for. Under this financial year, we had $1.5 million in expenditures budgeted. In November, the amended budget done, and for additional $460,000 for a total of $1,960,000. As of today, we have incurred $1,310,951 of the expenditures. leaving $649,000 available. We still have $567,000 yet to pay Morcom, and another $30,000 for RCC, plus additional unforeseen costs. As I was saying, when we budget it, and if it is not spent, it goes back in the county pot, or in this case, we budgeted $1 million, and we also budgeted $1 million to borrow to offset the other side of the budget, and we didn't borrow the money. We hadn't borrowed the money yet, so that's why there wasn't really any money in the budget over the years for it until we borrowed the money to get it.
Just a couple of questions left. At the end of the supervisors' meeting, the question was asked, who proposed this and which judges were pushing for it? They refused to answer. Why? And will Charlie Clark answer it now? Don't we, as the ones paying for this, if it goes through, have a right to know? Is it legal to withhold that information?
My understanding, the local judges wrote a letter of concern about the courthouse situation and the lack of security back before I came on the board. From there, it has escalated to now the state Supreme Court and attorneys are involved. Honestly, it's between lawyers and letters now. I don't know how to answer that any better than that. Judge Daugherty is as I said, is overseeing the mandamus. So that's where we are, and that's the situation we're in as of today.
Our last question. I brought my 6-year-old niece to the last Board of Supervisors meeting where we were discussing the $25 million new courthouse and etc. After the meeting, she leaned over to me and said, "This isn't fair. They're taking our money and spending it on something we don't even want. Do we need it?" At which point I had to answer, "No, honey, we don't." She then stated, "Well, that's not very smart." She's not allowed to say stupid. So my question is, if a 6-year-old can figure it out, can't our board with educated adults figure it out too and not spend money we the people of Smith County cannot afford to pay back?
I guess, I've said throughout talking here today that the county, we have not volunteered to do this. This is not action that anybody is jumping up and down or voting to do. The action taken by the board here through the results passed down from the judicial branch of our state, and I don't know what else to say other than we are in litigation with our state Supreme Court, which actually is mandamus being overlooked by Judge Daugherty to refurbish and bring the courthouse up to standards. It's something that we had to do and build a courthouse in 1905, and it's something that was remodeled again in 1972. It's hit us at this time to 2010, so it's part of the cost of governing, part of the cost of being in the state that we're in. And I want to take this time to thank Blake for having me, and if this brings on more questions than I've been able to answer here today, I'll certainly try to come back to answer the questions on down the road if there's any more to be asked.
And we thank you. Over the last hour, we've heard from Smith County Board of Supervisor Chairman Charlie Clark. Mr. Clark has answered every question that we gave him. And I will tell you that if you didn't hear your question asked, it was because we did not give it to Mr. Clark. Early on, we were inundated with questions, and it quickly became apparent that we'd have to limit our questions and group like questions to save time and prevent redundancy. I appreciate the time and thought given to all of the questions that were submitted. We understand that over the next few weeks and months there will be more questions, and Mr. Clark has already alluded that he will be able to be here to answer those questions, and we'll have that opportunity again. To our Board of Supervisors, I say thank you for your best efforts. To Mr. Clark, thank you for, as one citizen said, putting yourself out there. For What's Up in Smith County, this is Blake Frazier for Z1035.